and welcome to the beautiful four-play sports bar in downtown Winnipeg. It's Major Misconduct. I'm the Major, Scott Taylor. There is no misconduct today. Nobody's going to the penalty box, but we do have a minor penalty. It's guest day today on the 360 Winnipeg Sports Report. My first guest is the, now, how many titles? Your CEO, General Manager, Director of Operations.
Just stir it all in, mix it all in, and wear a sombrero and call it a fit.
You run the Downs.
Yep,
period.
Sure.
End of conversation. Darren Dunn runs Assiniboia Downs, and this is our first time to have Darren on the show. Couldn't come at a better time because we've got a bunch of things coming up. The biggest one, of course, is the Manitoba Derby. But we just had a huge weekend at the Downs, 3 days of racing, including the first time I think I've seen at the Downs a natural hat trick by a jockey.
It's been a while for sure. Paul Nolan joined us this year from Canterbury Park out of Minneapolis, Shakopee, Minnesota, to be more clear, and really brought veteran leadership to the jocks room. Certainly skill, great hands, and I mean, he's delivered everything that we build him to be beforehand. Class act, skilled rider, he's brought to the table. He's been just a tremendous addition, and he leads the way by 4 over Rohan Singh, another wily veteran who's got 3 titles under his belt. So they're going to probably go head-to-head all the way to the finish.
And Tyrone Nelson has started to get his career together. That's a pretty good story.
It is. He's getting hot. He's still a young kid from Jamaica. Really came over here without a lot of polish, Scott, as you know, probably half a dozen years ago, and continues to gain ground every year. And great clock in his head for finishing down the lane, and knows where that wire is, and really strong rider from off the pace.
Good friend of ours, Tim Moccasin, has had a pretty good start. Last year started slowly. Got some more rides as the season went along. Toward the end of the year, he got a ton of them. This year, he's steadily been the 4th best jockey at the track. And
that he has. And you know what? Natural Ability won a ton of titles at Marquis Downs in Saskatchewan. I know you've talked to him many times. Really a guy who resurrected his career here. Saskatchewan racing is on the decline, something that he does for a living. This is his thing. Came over to Winnipeg last year, as you mentioned. Took a year to really get more acclimated, to remind trainers of what he can do in the saddle, and really finished strong, and then picked that up to start the season off, and he's just been tremendous.
Let's talk about the trainers. The leader is Blair Miller, and for the longest time, he had about a 70 or 80% finish in the money rate, and that's an incredible percentage.
It really is. It's off the charts. You can bet $2 to show on him and walk right up to the wickets. The race running's almost a formality. It's an unheard of percentage, but you know, he's got good owners this year. He's had the opportunity to put some horses where they belong, not race them out of line. Really, his owners have given him the freedom to be able to place his horses in the right spots. He's taken full advantage. He's a tremendous trainer. He's very hands-on. Goes down to the barn. You'll find him there day in, day out. So it's not a fluke. It's not an accident. I mean, certainly success leaves clues, and his hard work is paying off.
Now, he had a lot of horses that were fit when the season started, because he'd been racing at Turf Paradise, as I understand.
Yeah, and that's a big advantage, for sure, without a doubt. But his Manitoba breds have really carried the tail of the tape for him thus far. You're right, he did bang off a number of quick wins, got off to a fast start with that fitness edge. You're always going to get when you're racing fit. You can practice all you want, but the horses here in Manitoba are coming off of farms, and for all the workouts that they do, it gets game shape. And just like any sport you're in, you got to get out there and get a few races under their belt. He's been able to do that, though, with his Manitoba breds very successfully as well, so a lot of credit to him, what he's brought to the table.
So you talk about horses being fit and where they were at the start of the season. One guy who has a lot of local horses, didn't race a lot of them away from town, so when he started the season, he started a little bit slowly. But Ardell Saylor has really started to come on, and now his numbers are getting up there, and he's chasing Blair Miller again.
It is. 10-time leading trainer. He won the title last year. He's always the guy to knock off. Biggest stable on the backstretch, Scott, as you know, and at the same time, a guy who does get a little bit generally off to a slow start. 2-year-old races now come into play. That's his specialty, and you're going to see him light it up the rest of the way. He really
and on Friday night, his 2-year-old looked tremendous.
It did, and he's got, I think, 16 2-year-olds that he has ready to race right now, so you're going to see them one after another. Domino effect. Doesn't mean he wins them all, but you're certainly going to hear from him in every race that he sends a 2-year-old to the track.
If I'm going to place a wager at the Downs and I don't know anything about the horses, I'd be smart to bet Paul Nolan, bet Ardell Saylor, bet Blair Miller, bet Rohan Singh.
Making money. You would just make money all day long. You're absolutely right. It's a trend that started off this year. It's continuing, and really it looks like those guys are going to be the dominant players right to the finish line when we wrap up 3rd week of September.
Well, we're going to talk about what's coming up toward the finish line, because the Manitoba Derby's coming up, and there are more Getting Serious with Scott handicapping seminars with me, and we'll come back and talk about that after. This is Major Misconduct, the 360 Winnipeg Sports Report. We're at 4 Play Sports Bar in downtown Winnipeg. It's Scott Taylor and Darren Dunn. Come on back.